Down the middle, that's straight down the middle. Then it started to roll just a wee bit. That's when McKinney lost sight of it. That little white pellet has never been found to this day.
Well, it's a great time to talk golf and other things around the great state of South Carolina. And to do that, we welcome in for another edition of Birdies and Bogeys around South Carolina.
Around
And
South
the only, though he
Carolina.
really isn't because he's the
And the only, though he really isn't because he's the third. He's the one and the only and the only. George Bryan the third to Sports Talk, Birdies and Bogeys around South Carolina. We come to you from Top Golf in Myrtle Beach, Georgia. I tell you what, if you were here, there'd be a few clients for you to work with. I've seen some very strange swings from these football players so far.
There's nothing like it, is it? And I'm glad we can talk about it. Most of these folks have no idea. There are a few that don't like the game, especially if it's playing the big four: football, basketball, baseball, soccer. But I tell them all, hey, y'all, might as well get started now, because as you climb the ladder, you get towards college, you'll start to play. So start now. It is fun, isn't it, Phil?
Oh, it is. And listen, these guys eventually, once their playing days are over, they'll become businessmen. And like, how much business around America, how much business is conducted on golf courses around America, you think?
Oh, it's incredible. And anymore, yeah, the business is conducted, but it starts with just relationship. Golf sets itself up. It's a fairly slow paced game. So there's plenty of time to socialize and have conversation and all I can tell you is, even on days like today when it might be a little rainy, a little misty, there's golf out there. And hey, but it's really cool. I have not been to Top Golf Myrtle Beach, but it's not raining indoors there with you, I'm guessing.
No, it was raining outside, but we're all under cover here, and it's a massive, massive place. Let me ask you this. Places like Top Golf, places like the Players Club in downtown Columbia, those kind of places, what do you think these establishments do for the game of golf in terms of generating more interest, creating more fans, driving more people to play the game?
Oh, I think that's huge. I think it's played a very important role. It helps those in small blocks of time have an outlet and an option. And so they have the simulators. I'm not sure about Top Golf there in Myrtle Beach. The Players Club downtown is all indoors, where you're hitting in simulators, and the simulators really pretty accurate. And you know, if it's a very odd dynamic one that I still enjoy, you can go into the simulators and play places like Pebble Beach or Harbor Town, where you are at Top Golf. They have these games and exercises, kind of, I just call it gamifying, and it really promotes the social piece. And speaking of social, let's go ahead and invite Tsunami Robbie in. I'm assuming he's with us on the tee. It is drizzling rain here, but I don't think it's too cold or wet for Tsunami Robbie. Welcome.
Oh, fellas, it's never too cold for Tsunami Robbie to play some golf.
Let me say this before we jump in with Robbie. Last night we had I'm down here at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl All-Star Game. Been down here all week. The game is tomorrow, 12 o'clock on our network, 12:30 kickoff. And they had the donors dinner last night. And who comes marching in, lumbering in? One David Abernathy and one Mike Armstrong. And I stopped because I've known Mike Armstrong since he was in high school. I say, no, I followed his recruiting. Used to talk to him when he was a high school kid about his recruiting, you know, who your offers are, where you're visiting and all that. And then, of course, David, the creator of the Tsunami Bar himself, we started talking after the show and just had a great conversation. But, yeah, those two guys are fantastic. I mean, David looks like he could play nose tackle right now in the NFL, and Mike looks like he could play tight end in the NFL right now. Those are two incredible guys.
Yeah, in fact, that's exactly where I was going to talk about those guys. I knew that they were there, and as you know, how ironic that they run into you, and you get to talk to them. And don't let David Abernathy fool you. He doesn't look like the typical golfer, but he can get out there and play. So he's not he can when he catches one, he hits it a long way, and then he can get it around the green and then get it in the hole. And then Mike Armstrong, Phil, you talk about his recruiting way back in the day. That was a guy that had tons of potential, could run like the wind, even at his size. 6'9" and long arms, long legs, but he can move and play. And unfortunately, he got bit by the injury bug when he was at South Carolina. But he's had a great career in high school football as a strength coach and an X's and O's coach. And now he's with Total Strength and Speed and doing a great job for us selling equipment.
Yeah, they mentioned. Let me say, George, real quick. They mentioned Williams, the Williams company, Williams weights, I guess it is.
Williams Strength. Williams Strength is the weight build.
And I was going to ask you, Robbie, to kind of talk about Williams Strength and how that's blended in with the Tsunami Bar and everything else you guys are doing.
Yeah, it all started 25 plus years ago, and when a guy named Scott Williams and Mike Ramsey, happened to meet in a very odd way. Mike owned a Play It Again sports type of store, a secondhand sporting goods store, and Scott Williams walks in one day with a little triangular weight tree that holds plate weights, and said, "Hey, I make these in my garage. Is there any chance we could do a consignment deal? Maybe I could put these in your store." And voila! From that point on, they started forming a relationship, started putting Mike's business sense and expertise together with Scott's design and engineering and creative abilities to build these racks and all the weight room equipment. And now they've been from 2 or 3 different spots and locations to this great big manufacturing building on Chris Drive, 720 Chris Drive, and then another fella comes along down the road around 2012 and introduces this flexible barbell to David Abernathy at Clemson University when he was an assistant there. And David was patient enough to kind of entertain this guy's idea. And then they got together and, over a period of years with David's input and what's going to make this flexible device viable in the football world and the weightlifting world. And then the Tsunami Bar was born right there in the Clemson weight room, and David Abernathy was front and center on that. And now we're down here in 2022, and the Tsunami Bar is finally, it's the overnight success that's now taken 12 years to get there. But
wow,
it's still going and growing strong and getting better and better. And those guys are big into pushing it with the high schools, getting it started there, then high schools and the colleges, and now in the professional ranks, and Tsunami Bar is rolling along.
So the Tsunami Bar is one of the pieces of equipment that is manufactured right there at Williams Strength and Total Strength and Speed at 720 Chris Drive. And you're talking to the man that puts his hand on every one of them that goes all over the world. Robbie, Tsunami Robbie is Director of Technology and touches every bar that goes, like I said, literally, mostly we're in this country, but we do ship all over the world. And so it's a very unique technology that's a lot of fun. It's nothing like it out there in the weight world. Dr. Vince Bismarck says with less effort, there's nothing he's seen with less effort that gives the heart better the challenge of cardio output. So it's a bendable bar technology. And Phil, you've got it right there on the website. you put the videos up and direct folks. How do we get a chance to review the technology?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On our website, sportstalksc.com, we have action videos of Robbie trying to show me how to use the Tsunami Bar in a variety of ways. That's a challenge in and of itself. And, in fact, it's time to update the video. I need to change one out and put a new one in. But a lot of folks have been hitting up the videos. And then if you click on the digital ad for Tsunami Bar, it'll take you right to the Tsunami Bar website. And, Robbie, I'll let you take it from there. You can tell everybody. I mean, I've gone over the website hundreds of times, but you can tell everybody there how to navigate it and what kind of information they can find on your website.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff up there, Phil. It's just not a product store where you can click on the shop icon and go through the products individually and read a little bit about each product, see the pictures of the product, get a little bit of knowledge on the product, but not too in depth where it's very confusing. Or you can go to the science behind the product, which is another icon on the website that will get quite in depth of what the actual technology does from a scientific standpoint. How much muscular recruitment on the primary movers and the stabilizers and the secondary movers, and a direct comparison on research studies that have been done at Furman University and other places just like that are highly intelligent, and they tell you exactly how the technology from Tsunami Bar compares physically to a standard steel 45-pound Olympic bar, and it's quite amazing. Just like George said, you can work with less and get more, and I'm living proof of that. Working out with that bar for a number of years now, that I don't have near the skeletal and muscular breakdown that I used to have. The days and days of recovery, trying to feel better so I could move around and do other things besides lift weights. This is the type of technology that you can get into, and whether you're young, middle-aged, older, doesn't make any difference. If you've got some challenges physically, this is the type of technology that you can use to make yourself feel better, get stronger, more mobile, more flexible, and able to function on a daily basis.
Hey,
One thing that David told me. Oh, go ahead.
Hold on. Let me offer just a little interpretation before we get. I can't let this get away. Muscular skeletal abrasion. You know what that means, Phil? That means
not a clue.
The cool thing about the product is you can use it without it tearing you down. So, in short, you can eliminate a lot of the soreness. You get a faster recovery, and it does not negatively influence performance, meaning you're highly sensitive to feel versus traditional weight technology, steel, static, even the band, body weight and band. It caused the abrasiveness, which equates into soreness and tension, high levels of tension. So the Tsunami Bar product's the only one out there that you can navigate through these layers of the study of tension. So keep going. You were getting ready to jump in there and interject, Phil. Sorry to interrupt.
I was just going to say that one thing that David told me last night as we were talking about the technology, and I said, what's the difference in the bar, the Tsunami Bar, versus the steel bar that people are used to using for all these decades in lifting weights? I think that was the question, or somehow we got on to that. And he said, Robbie, basically, he said it's less wear and tear on your hands. That bar, what it's made of, is a lot better on your grip and on your hands over time versus what would happen when you were using the old steel bar. Is that pretty much the case?
Yes, sir. From the contact point to where you grip the bar, and that was one of the things going directly to the hands. That was one of the things that really turned the light on for me as a user. I had seen it as a coach, and I had kind of, before I really got involved with Tsunami Bar, just kind of niched it as a fast twitch, speed type movement that really didn't have much application other than that. And I came to it from an injury standpoint. I had some really significant pain in my hands and using steel bars, and I put the weight or put the bar back on the rack, and kind of sat there on the bench thinking I might be done as far as the weightlifter goes, because the pain is really becoming to a point where it's causing me to do some things in my form of my lifting that would be more harmful than lifting itself. So I saw the Tsunami bar in the corner of the room at the gym that I was at, and I said, let me give this bar a try. I know what it's supposed to do, but now let me try it in other applications. So that's when I immediately began using the bar on a regular basis, not just speed, but for the heavy stuff that I did, the speed or dynamic work that I did, and immediately, the pain in my hands was decreased to the point to where I could lift, and it got better and better and better. And the reason for that is that the direct line of pressure, when you have a steel bar, a rigid steel bar loaded with, let's just say, 135 pounds, it's 135 pounds of pressure straight down where your hands meet the bar, all the way out to the ends of the bar. Anywhere in between, it's going to be that same line of direct pressure because it's rigid. The Tsunami bar is flexible. So when you grip the bar, it flexes, so there's less pressure toward the middle of the bar where it bends parabolically, because the weight and the pressure is delivered at the ends of the bar where the weight is. So you get the weight that you're using, the raw weight, plus with the flex of the bar, it's going to load more at the bottom. So it's actually going to load more. That 135 is going to go up, depending on how fast you move it, to 235, 335, up to 400 and something pounds of pressure if you move it at, say, 3.8 feet per second. But the hands don't have to endure that type of pressure because the bar is bending right there. So it feels like it's lighter in the middle and heavier at the end, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Hey, well, I can tell you that it's also fun. It's easy, fun. You get more and less. And so you can check out the Tsunami Bar Sports website, tsunamibarsports.com. There are other ways you can preview the bar. Tsunami Robbie said 720 Chris Drive, where the Tsunami Bar Training Center is, but also Low Country Custom Golf. David Ayers, Low Country Custom Golf down in Mount Pleasant. He's a dealer. Over near you, there's Andrew Allen Golf Academy is in Ana, and Andrew Allen is he's a fantastic supporter of the product. And Tusa Golf in Lexington, the Players Club, as we talked about earlier, 24/7 fitness, so you can check out the what we call the sixth line, which is lightweight, designed for baseball, a little bit of the baseball, the swimmers, golf, especially. And so we got a couple of schools out there, colleges, universities, doing some studies. Mississippi State, the information is not available just yet to begin speaking about. David Abernathy will update us live, but also right there, Anderson University, there's a study going on. I think that's on connective tissue, and we'll be able to talk about that hopefully in the spring, what they've come up with. Speaking of Anderson University, number 1 in the country in Division II. So congratulations to the men's program. And I was scrolling through looking at other schools. I was noticing that USC Beaufort, and I think that's D3, Phil, or possibly NAI. Can you straighten me out? They're ranked 7th in the country.
USC Beaufort, I believe, is, I'm going to take a guess. I think they're D2.
D2, USC Beaufort. Hold on. Well, that's my bad on that for not having that right front. But I did notice the USC women's golf team is ranked number 4. But being ranked number 1 in the country, they won 4 events, Anderson University, this fall. And most for the Division I and other Division II. The main season is in the spring. That's when the NCAA championships are conducted. NCC or NCC AA, the National Christian College Association. They'll play their national championship, and I think NAIA in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
But congratulations to Anderson. 4 events in a row, ranked number 1. That's pretty sweet, coming right out of South Carolina. And so also ran into Stephen Hartwitz, who is the head pro at Timberlake Golf Club, the only golf club at Lake Murray. And he reminded me that the SCJGA had a one-day, actually a 2-day event, Players Series. Chase Klein wins on the boys' side at -2 for the weekend. Number 18 is probably one of my most favorite holes in the whole world.
Mm.
You get a second shot over water, and nothing quite like it, especially if you drive it down the middle. You have a chance to go for it, too. Then London Rath of Spartanburg wins on the girls' side. So congratulations to these 2 players. And I was looking up the USC Buford, and that is NAIA. That is NAIA, Bill. Sorry about that.
No, USC Buford's division. No, USC Buford is. I just looked it up. They went Division II this July.
Oh,
if
really?
we're looking at the same, if we're looking at the same thing, I'm
is
looking
it
at
possible-
a July story. Yeah.
Is it possible for the golf to stay in or the one all for one and one for all?
Well, it says here in July they were accepted as provisional members of Division II. Achieving the full membership typically takes 3 years. And so maybe they are still competing in some ways, I guess, maybe in NAIA, but their goal is to move to Division II. That's the process they're in right now.
Hey, so they're ranked 7th. How about that?
That's good.
And
okay, here we go.
and
Here we
so-
go. So the Sand Sharks will have dual membership, NAIA and NCAA, while they go through this. So there you go.
And, I appreciate that. There's, for example, I was speaking with Jason Allen. He is the Erskine coach. And he was speaking of they're in both the NCCAA and also, I think, NAIA or Division III. But you can be in more than one. And I'm not sure if it's the transitional phase. I'm easily confused. But they compete in both. What a great program they have at Erskine as well. We got a number of the programs around South Carolina that are top. Limestone is ranked 19th, and I think they're Division II. And traditional powerhouse, Limestone, they've actually won a national championship. In fact, David Lamb, remember vividly, they won a national championship way back in the 80s. So Phil and Tsunami Robbie, it looks like a rainy weekend. Phil's Tsunami Robbie was in the Tsunami Bar Sports Golf Lab last weekend, and there's Training Bay. We got some exciting news to announce for 2023. We'll have a couple of simulators out there, 720 Chris Drive, with an outdoor, an outdoor short game facility attached. More on that later, and just got a little bug in the ear. It says you got to go ahead and putt on out, Tsunami Robbie. So until next week, you all enjoy yourself at Myrtle Beach.
Yes,
Top
sir.
Golf. See them high, but shoot them low.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Robbie. Maybe next week we'll get over there and do a sports talk with you guys over there at Tsunami Bar Sports and everything else you've got going on. You got so many different things going on. I can't name them all. But thank you for being with us. I did tee them high today. I did not shoot them low. One day I'll tee them high and shoot them low. But it was tee them high and shoot them high per usual. Okay, that's going to do. Chris, are you still there?
I am still here.
Oh,
next time I talk to you, though,
left.
I will be in South Dakota, though, the next time I chat with you guys.
Well, you have fun. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. Don't forget the broadcast tomorrow.
Someone will be right with you. The Point.